I've had more insight about
The process.
the problem, really.
Yeah.
And I can see it a little bit better as I've been educating myself with videos online in other countries. And they are some countries, yes, some countries no. Some countries are so accustomed to having dogs running the streets.
Yeah.
They just don't see what the issue is.
Yeah.
And so when they're done with the dog, they turn it out.
Yeah.
Or they're not concerned with getting it back if it does get loose.
Just loose dogs, so go join the pack. Yeah. And weather takes care of a lot of them. That's the problem living in the South, is the moderate temperature. We have February that, yes, dogs freeze, but the other 11 months out of the year, they can live outside.
So I guess my point is, if society isn't able to convince its citizens that
this is a problem.
This is a problem. It's not good for us. Could you please adopt our way of doing things? Then the only other option is regulation.
Yeah.
Which would be so unfortunate.
And that's the problem, is the regulation piece. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody says in the comments is, they need a breeder tag. Okay, well, then they need more officers.
Yeah.
They need more money to enforce that. Who's going and ticketing? I mean, how many days do I see when people are like, I called 311.
Yeah.
And it's not 311's problem.
Yeah.
There's just not enough.
They're completely overloaded.
Yeah. But thank God they cut our taxes. Nervous? Are you nervous, yawning?
I think you're going to be okay, Missy. Well, all right. So there was an arrest made this last 7 days.
Okay.
In the South of a dog trainer for animal cruelty charges. And they have video evidence, and it's on the internet.
What was it like a dog died in her care, or?
No, it was just abuse. Just abuse. No one died.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that it was abuse that could be apparent after the abuse took place, meaning the dog wasn't permanently or long-term damaged.
Like somebody in her group had to tell on her or something?
Yeah. And all of Instagram is jumping all over it, because it's really nice to point out how other people are bad.
Right.
It unloads.
Yeah. I'm squared away.
And so I didn't want to jump on that because I don't think that's helpful.
Well, that and training aggressive dogs does sometimes look not great. It's not pretty sometimes. And so it's that whole, like, a picture tells 1,000 words. Well, but
what about the story before it?
Video, and I want more than that. Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, then I came across this reel today that it hasn't got much attention at all. And what she's talking about is doggy daycare environment. And so what I took from this abuse case and all these little facts she's making about the stress of doggy daycare and what it entails is this. In my opinion, a lot of folks use a dog trainer or a training company, and they also use dog daycare as a way of offloading their responsibilities to the animal.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Right? And so what you have when you have all these dogs in a small space with one human being in charge of them, the dogs are stressed, but guess who else is stressed? The human being.
Yeah.
And I don't know of many businesses that do well or that are successful in regards to their bottom line that are not about a quantity business model.
It's the only way you can make money is a swarm of dogs, and that is not good for the dogs.
Mm-mm.
It's not good for the people.
Yeah.
And it just creates so many bad habits.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because in Texas, like, it's hot. We can't
That's
say
right.
go for a jog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have to get that energy out somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way to do it right
Mm-hmm.
is have like 5 dogs.
Yeah.
That you know.
And then you're not making money.
And then you can't turn on the air conditioner and you can't turn on the lights. Yeah. And it needs to be like 1 person per every 5 dogs, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I have literally left places in tears, dropping off fosters here in Dallas, thinking,
this is a terrible situation.
I'm setting this dog up for so much failure.
Yeah.
He's going to get hurt. He's going to get injured. And just the blind faith that people put in these facilities.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to kind of touch on, is that people need to be, one, did you need a dog in the first place? Okay, maybe we can't go back and undo that, but it's time to make some changes.
Yeah.
You've done it, and people will drop their dogs off at daycare Monday through Friday. They do it Saturday and Sunday too, if they could.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's so rare the client that understands, maybe my dog can be boarded, but I don't want him to do daycare. Mm-hmm. They always want, he's just going to sit in a kennel all day? Well, he'd be sitting on my couch all day too. Like, that overstimulation. And, you know, it's like with people and kids, like, we have to stimulate. And then we wonder why
they're so jacked up.
why you all hopped up on Mountain Dew. I think, you know, Maya Bialik has that podcast, and she explained it. You know, we're so, as a society, used to numbing things, whether it's with alcohol, caffeine, exercise, food, and because we don't want to sit in uncomfortableness. And, you know, I think that's the same with dogs, is we want to, he's hyper, I need to get him out of here, I need to numb this uncomfortableness I'm feeling, or he's uncomfortable and here's the solution. Yeah, I just you're so stupid.
In my opinion, there's a few dogs that are right for daycare and most are not.
Absolutely. I think, you know, the labs, the sweet Goldens who want to play ball for 4 or 5 hours. But even then, finding a daycare that will be straight with you and say, you know what, after 3 hours today, he was good.
Yep.
We turned him off and put him in his house, and he's been asleep ever since. But they're so afraid of getting called out by the owner. I was watching the camera, and you took him out of daycare after 6 hours.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Did you think somewhere between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. every time you looked at the camera, he'd be playing?
Yeah. I mean, he's not a marathoner.
Do you go to a party for 10 hours?
Yeah. That's what it is. It's a party. Yeah. And while
I usually skip out after a couple hours.
Yeah. Well, then I get nervous about bloat. I mean, or, you know, orthopedic injuries. Yeah. I just, and it's funny. I think, now I might be just repeating a falsehood that my parents told me, but I think the concept of daycare was started up in Canada.
Oh, okay.
And, well, of course, it's lovely up there. The temperature's great. I'm sure they have indoor, outdoor situations and space. And I think daycare is great at socializing in small bites. So it also helps you to find the pitfall, but you have to have a place that is willing to be honest with you. And that means that they would have to tell you, I don't want your money anymore.
Yeah. That's right.
Hey, you know what? He's good at maybe once a month. Let's see Barney once a month, because I think he could work a little bit harder with the little dogs and socializing. But that's not smart for them, a business model.
That's right. Whenever I meet a dog that I think he or she would benefit from daycare, I've never once said 5 days a week.
Every day. Yeah.
I've always said alternate days at the absolute most. And in regards to, well, I mean, it goes for daycare and training, but I'm thinking of right now about the trainer specifically that's in some legal trouble. The dogs that perhaps he treated with cruelty most likely wouldn't have been acting the way they were acting for him to feel the need to cross a line with them if they hadn't been in that environment. Saying they're acting,
they're setting up
out of
for
stress.
failure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, here I put you in the. It's like when, I have a lot of friends. They all have dogs, and there are some obviously that open door, come in.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Hank, and I know what he can handle. So why
put him there?
Set him up for that. And I'm fine putting my dog in a crate and saying, yeah, let's just don't test it. But I see that all the time. Like, oh, you should have brought whatever dog over when you're at a party or at somebody's house. They have dogs. And people just think all dogs it's just all going to work out. It's like kids. They all will just get out and work out and they'll all play together. And I also think, like, not only why set them up for failure, but it's good for them to be at home by themselves.
Yeah.
Right, idiot?
Yeah. It is. It's a practice. It's a discipline.
Yeah.
I always am telling folks, and we're going to touch on this snip walk business again because it won't stay off of my For You page. But I was like, it is good to walk at heel sometimes, even if it doesn't seem necessary. It is good to leave your dog at home alone sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it every day.
Yeah.
But go out to dinner, for God's sake.
Well, and I think people underestimate, they can't talk. They are just sponges at every little nuance, every little. I think people underestimate what you can get out of a 30-minute walk with, like, I used to see it all the time when I was in college and I was a dog walker. You start with a dog that's a drunken sailor, and after about a month, they're walking right. They're figuring it out, and they're tired, and I think people
need to stop.
Take for granted 30 minutes is a lot of exercise mentally and physically for a little idiot.
It is.
Like you.
Well, it's all very sad. And I think the bottom line is if people would take some responsibility for their dog. And this one trainer's case, he makes, if I understood his business model correctly, champion hunting dogs, which is cool. That's an amazing skill. I love to see the dogs working.
A service people can use. Like, yes, I need a hunting dog because I'm a hunter.
But if a person is a hunter and they want to 100% offload the training of the hunt, I don't even understand.
Yeah.
My father came home and worked the dogs every single day.
Yeah. Well, and there are those like ranches and farms and resorts where it's like, do you want the hunting dog option?
Yeah.
And
maybe
I think
that's
people
part of
keep that mentality. But I also see the opposite happens of, oh, we want a family dog and a hunting dog. Well, okay.
Yeah.
That's double duty. You have to do twice as much studying.
Yeah.
And I think some dogs are totally capable of that. Like, oh, time to go to work. But it's a lot of homework. I don't know that I could.
That's right.
Do it.
And there's people who are affluent and they can afford the service. There's almost a mindset of, then I should get the service.
Upgrade me.
Yeah. When they're perfectly capable and have the time because they're affluent to do the work themselves.
Some homework every day.
Yeah. No one said you couldn't get a trainer to come over.
Yeah. Well, how many times have you gone to somebody's house, or especially if it's, a dog you know, and they're like, he listens to you so well. I mean, it's the same thing. Well, yeah, because he knows me as the boss.
Yeah, and the hunters are always complaining and calling up the trainer going, well, he's not doing this in the field like he's supposed to.
Okay, well, let me see him. No, he's doing it for me.
Yeah. So ridiculous. Okay, well, best to those people involved.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those cruelty cases here, and it just breaks my heart because you're trying to do the right thing. I'm going to invest money in training, and then there was that one. Was it last summer that it was an overheating of the little Bernedoodle, which I always think overheating has to be one of the worst ways to go as a dog. Like you're panting and you're doing as much as you can. And you just don't know. It's sort of like getting a pet sitter in your house. And until you're in the situation, you don't know. You can read all the testimonials you want.
That's right. They're not,
It's hard. It's hard to trust people with something that doesn't talk. It's like a babysitter.
And as far as online reviews go, you have to dig. Yeah. You need to look for the bad ones and then decide, oh, this person's just a complainer.
Right.
Or they've got a good point here.
Yeah. I love looking at grooming reviews because one, they're just so funny. Like, well, I asked him short and this is the picture. And I'm like, well, that's short to me. It's great. Looks great. And then you can tell there used to be a grooming shop next to my old office that was every single one was bad. And there was pictures and they were really bad pictures of not stylistic, but harm, razor burn and just novice things. And I thought, okay, now that one might not be good. Yeah. But also, they could also be a vindictive ex-employee or but if it's I didn't my favorite is when they complain about a policy. Well, you knew the policy before. Right. They wouldn't let me pick up at noon on Sunday, even though they're only open 3 to 5 at the training facility or boarding facility. Well, that's their hours.
Just taking up web space with these complaints. We really need to know if the animals are being treated right.
Somebody needs to hear my voice. Yeah. In my mind, I'm like, oh, cool, you have Sunday pickup. Sure, I'll pay an extra day.
That's another good example of groomers. They're under stress as well.
Oh my God.
And these people, the owners, how many dogs, when you were in the business, that came in for grooming, how many of them were well trained? I'm guessing a lot were not.
I would say 50-50. Mom was really good about sort of training the owners about, okay, if that's the hair you want, here's how often you need to come. And here's how much it's going to cost. But yeah, I think I loved during the pandemic when so many people tried grooming their own dogs. I loved it because, you didn't just watch a YouTube video and see how easy it was?
So easy. I tried.
Yeah.
Failed instantly.
Yeah. One, it's hard. Two, the equipment's expensive. It's not the same stuff you get at Sally's Beauty Supply. So I love it when people say, I tried to do it myself.
But I just couldn't make her happy. When I know there's neglect and, I guess it's probably just mostly neglect. The dogs get cut sometimes as well.
Yeah. How many times have I, been shaving my own legs and I've been doing that for however long. And
scissors and razors involved.
And I'm not a moving. Yeah. I just like if your kid goes to school, he might get a bruise.
Yeah. And I would assume the more pressure the groomers are under to get this one out, more likely an accident's going to happen. So I guess my point is, if you don't want to groom your own dog, or you don't want to have them come into your house like I do, you could probably expect an accident from time to time.
Yeah, you're going to get a quick nail. Yeah. And I'm probably the only person that's like, she's awful. I'm surprised you were able to do the other.
She's terrible.
Yeah. Now, if something happens to Hank, he's the toy soldier that I mean, he literally is like, here's my paw. If you nick him,
you made a mistake.
Then that's on you. But yeah, you got to know that. I think that's what it comes down to. You have to be honest about what you have. Sort of
and
like,
you didn't want to train it.
Yeah.
So some accidents might happen.
It takes 3 people to restrain him. Yeah. I saw that.
Not talking about you. I know it's not your fault.
Yeah.
I know you're kept in a box.
You're an orphaned Russian
but
baby.
I'm talking about those that
just had the chance.
Yeah, and they're like, she's fine at our house.
Oh gosh.
Well, that's what you think.
Yeah, there's a, on my page, I get a lot of vet tech stuff, and there's always a lot of controversy. You see the big, huge labs, and it's like one person's over here with peanut butter, and one person's holding the legs, and the other person's trimming, and it's more for, the understanding of what vet techs go through. Like, it's not all puppies and kitties, but then of course you get in the comments, at our hospital, we don't, we would have sedated, or we would have, it should not take 3 people. And I'm like, okay, for a 100-pound dog, well, I know for my 10-pound Chihuahua, his sedate nail trim is about $150. So you're going to ask every time that a nail trim, or it's going to be a 2-hour process of your force-free, pure positive. And that's been a new thing at clinics, is everything's force-free. I'm like, where does that end? Because just going in the door,
I forced him to be here.
You already have a leash on. I mean,
it's so ridiculous.
I just assume that means more sedation, which I am,
or don't get the job done.
Or I am fully believer in, there's a time to call it for the health of the techs, the health of the doctors, the health of the dog.
It's not happening today.
But it's okay to restrain an animal.
Yeah. They're pets, and
your kid gets restrained when he gets a vaccine as a baby.
Making them pets was the first thing we forced upon them.
Right.
And you need your nails cut.
Yeah.
Your anal glands expressed, and
ears plucked, and
yeah. None of this you would choose for yourself.
Yeah. Well, I just walked into this clinic today. What's happening here?
I wanted to, because I just need somebody to hear me. I wanted to go back and make a point about my experience as a trainer with people that have their dogs in daycare before they meet me. They never remain clients. What I mean by that is,
really, they wanted the quick fix.
They've got their dog in daycare 5 days a week. They've gotten a complaint from daycare about their dog's behavior.
Sure.
And I come over and tell them what needs to happen. And I explain to them how daycare may be causing part of these problems to some extent. And then I never hear from them again. Because it's the people that...
I didn't like that.
They want the dog managed from the get-go.
Yeah.
And only,
little doggy manager.
Only when it was about to get kicked out of their management solution, daycare, they're going to call me. And they're like, "Ooh, that sounds like work. We'll just keep him at home or something."
Get a dog walker 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I have no clients that utilize daycare unless I was the one that told them.
Yeah.
You probably benefit from it once a week.
Yeah.
And then they may go do it. But they're never daycare clients and then become training clients.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot about people trying to offload
the
dog's needs.
I want the quick. And they're all giant dogs that need... I just don't understand that. I get it. Not everybody wants a tiny, small dog. But just understand how much that takes.
It does take a lot of devotion. They just can't be there for you on Sundays when you want to watch a movie
and go to brunch.
Yeah, they're there every day.
Yeah,
it's like a kid.
Yeah, I used to have a size requirement of like, okay, I'm not going to go above 40, and then
for yourself.
Yeah, and then you get Hank, and he's the best dog ever, and I think that's always been my my saying is, I don't have a breed requirement. I have a speed requirement. I need this.
Yeah. Right.
I need an off switch. And there's so many, sporting, working, herding dogs that just don't have an off. And some people think that's cute, running the circles and doing the pace. And it makes me anxious. I can't, I don't like living like that.
I don't want to see it.
I want somebody to everybody's laying down watching TV.
Everybody wants a Malinois once a year to show off at their party. Look what it can do.
Yeah. Ugh.
But
he can climb this fence.
Who wants to live with that? 16 hours a day.
I would say, 95% of people do not.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be some sort of Airbnb partnering up. This house comes with a trainer and
it's
a Malinois.
An experience.
Yeah. This house comes with a Australian Shepherd, and then you get to live with it, and you're like, you know what, you're right.
I was wrong.
That is not that experience is not what I want. We'll see if we can't monetize that. We just need the right dogs. We need,
the ones that are popular.
Malinois. We need at 10, 150-pound doodle. We need. Let me see if I can't capitalize on this.
We'll think on that. And
we need a little toy breed that's just peeing and pooping all over the place.
All right. So that's enough of that. Try not to unload your problems onto dog services. And if you must,
use it the right way.
And be very diligent in your research.
Go visit. Yeah. The amount of people that read reviews, make an appointment, and drop their dogs off and leave the country always amazes me. I would never.
Every time somebody left a dog with me, I'd be like, I can't believe you just left your dog with me.
You're not going to come check it out?
You don't even know me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could be a hoarder. And there could be piles of newspaper everywhere. Yeah, I'm always surprised that people were.
And I'd be telling the dog, it's going to be all right.
I got you now.
I just can't. I cannot get enough of the shaming of how people are training their dogs to walk at heel. So this one wants you to have a 10 to 15 foot leash. So then my clients hear this.
Then at any time he could just say, nope.
They want to talk to me about it.
Why don't you get a flexi while you're at it?
Look at the environment in which she's walking.
Right.
This looks like a country road that nobody goes down.
Well, and he is at perfect heel. So you've fully trained this dog. And now you put a 10-foot leash on? Why bother? Why not put a 6-foot leash on and go on your business walk?
It's the lack of insight for some of these content creators that this is the same environment every human with a dog has, that you could even take this approach.
Yeah, there's not bicycles, the dart train.
Where's the other dogs?
Yeah,
where's the cars?
The neighbors, the cars.
No stroller?
Yeah, we were struggling with bicycles this morning.
This is insanity.
So we had to go find every bicycle we could.
Yeah. I think
it's that whole back to the money back guarantee of separation anxiety. It's just reckless because the layperson is like, okay, well, I'll do
this.
This
is what you're supposed to do. They tell me I'm bad if I do it any other way.
Yeah. And then you have to say, well, that's not your reality.
It's
most people's reality.
And it's crazy to me, and my clients, they don't pick it up. I mean, it shouldn't be crazy. That's what my job is to point out to them what they're missing. But I mean, sure, I can walk my dog down an empty street too.
But again, if that's how your dog is acting, I don't understand the 10
Just
to 15.
Put the short leash on.
Yeah, well, I don't understand the freedom to move, choice.
Let him roam.
The choice makes me insane. Let's see.
And play the sneak away game. But there's a bicyclist coming at me.
Sneak away game?
We're both going to get killed.
Get the fuck out of here. Choice. What? Why do they need choice? Because it makes me feel good? If we're at home,
it's not really a choice, though, is
right. You're on a walk that that's it makes me insane. You know where you can have choice?
What if they choose to lay down and not get up again?
I guess walks over. You have to call somebody to come pick you up. Reward. Okay, well, set them up for success. Start with low distraction, but also reward them for noticing distractions. That also, help me explain that. I struggle with when, I guess the idea is that you're soothing your dog for not freaking out, because I see that a lot here. There's a stroller, there's a bicycle, like, I'll be on the trail with my dogs. Here's a treat, here's a treat, here's a treat, here's a treat, here's a treat. You made it through that. And I'm thinking, aren't you just rewarding him for noticing, for noticing, for noticing? Like, I see a lot of trainers recommend that. I see it out in the world. Oh, well, you have to, like, soothe them through that. And we had a trainer similarly recommend, when I was volunteering through Angie's Friends, that, if we're at an event and the dog is freaking out, just give them treats.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
is that to distract them?
I guess.
And then they don't freak out because they've now turned to the food.
Yeah, I guess. But I'm like, how impractical is that? You're a mom, you've got your purse, your groceries, and your dog's freaking out. Well, fuck, where's the treat bag?
Yeah.
When you could have just said, knock it off. I'm the boss, and moved on with your life. But yeah, I mean, I'm not against rewarding a dog for good, but to specifically reward for noticing distractions, that's where I've
you can't. Yeah, and I think the trouble is you can't explain it in a 5 bullet points.
Right. Yeah.
There's so much nuance.
Yeah, you're right. It's like Caesar used to get, oh, he fixed it. No, you saw a 20-minute video of him going over to somebody's house and going, eh. There was a lot of things that weren't communicated. Yeah.
Because they're not interesting.
And guess what? They're going to fucking notice distractions. You don't have to reward that. I think people don't give dogs enough credit.
Yeah.
Reward them for noticing.
They notice.
They heard, they smelled, they saw. They didn't maybe tell you about it, but they noticed.
This trainer might mean reward them for
not for
tolerating.
Yeah, tolerating
its presence.
Yeah.
And sometimes I will turn my focus onto the dog sitting and staying while the stroller goes by. And if they can do that, they don't have to face me.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter so much. Yeah, not fall apart. And I said, that's good. You sat and stayed while it went by. When I know in my mind, my primary focus for them in the moment is hold your sit stay. You can't lose your mind and hold your sit stay at the same time. And what the dog learns is, oh, and also I know I was quiet, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And you repeat.
I didn't bark at that lady.
Repeat.
I really wanted to bark at that lady.
But if I can get in the weeds a little bit, sometimes you don't even have a sit stay in place because the dog hasn't even been trained to sit stay.
Yeah.
But you've got to take them out to go to the bathroom. If you don't have a backyard, you might run into another dog.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Just wait in the house until you've done all the training?
I think most people do. I think that's the problem. Most people say, oh, well, we can't now because next door neighbor walks at 6, so we have to go at 6:10.
And our trainer told us to not put him in these situations.
And to me, the not freaking out at the stroller going by, that's the choice. He had a choice to freak out. That's when you reward, not allow him choice. Well, you are just by going on a walk. He's got
lots of choices to make. Some will be right, and
Yeah.
some will be wrong.
He could have darted after that squirrel. Yeah, interesting. Look at this little toy soldier walking perfectly, but you're giving him all of these choices. I wonder why he isn't choosing all the bad things. Oh, because he's been trained.
Yeah, nobody knows what to do with the one at the end of the leash on its hind legs. How do we?
Just like a reindeer pulling the sled.
Well, then you just shouldn't be outside until you've trained them better. That's their answer.
Yeah. Well, you send them off first. You send them off.
Let that be somebody else's problem.
And then when it doesn't work, you say, well, he's been trained. This is as good as he's going to get.
This is it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun. It never gets old. Hey, my client sent me this. This is lighthearted. Vancouver's giving out yellow bandanas to pet parents for reactive dogs. We've talked about this before. I'm so sad this never really caught on.
I have seen it recently a couple more times.
People trying.
But because it's not so common, I love the examples of the dogs, a Rottweiler and a Chihuahua. Those are the two dogs that should have. Now, I love Rottweilers and I love Chihuahuas, but you know what? They probably should all have a yellow bandana.
You need to be out and proud about your reactivity. Don't try to keep it a secret until it's too late.
Yeah, let's tell people. I really thought that was sad. And I feel like that maybe I should do some research. Did that get started in Austin? Or I felt like, what a good idea. Yellow leashes.
If we could all just stay at home, get her. If we could all just, yellow bandana. Leave them alone.
No. Well, people can't do that with the service dogs.
That's true.
And boy, that sends me over
is your dog
the edge.
Reactive?
I'm a dog person. I'm a dog person. That's what people always want to say to Milo.
I have a reactive dog too.
Let me make full eye contact. Are you so jealous?
All right. Maybe we can bring it back. This really bugs me. So this trainer is advocating don't take your dog out every 30 minutes and there's some sort of math game you can play that they can hold it for. She's going to let us know. Tether your puppy to you. Yes, it's an option, but sometimes really impractical. Yeah. Establish a feeding and water schedule is a great idea. Let's get to the bad one. What's number 4, Sally? While she's yapping, I'll get to my point.
That should have been the shortest.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. But she is.
When they go potty, or when they eat, they will have to go potty.
Oh, she just had the 3. I thought she had 5. Okay, stop letting your puppy go out every 30 minutes. It's exact opposite advice to what I give my clients. And my argument is, one, I've never seen a 8-week-old that could hold it for 1 or 2 hours while it's awake.
Yeah, and they're going to play and then they're going to get water.
Age in months plus 2. So 2 hours, 4 months. 4-month-old can hold it 6 hours. Not at my house.
No, because
not during the waking hours.
I was about to say, because they're usually actively playing and then getting water.
Absolutely. But
I'm also weird about water, so I wonder if her whole full explanation of food and water is to withhold water.
Maybe. Okay, so again, this goes back to nuance. I tell folks, what I'm telling you today, I am going to change it all on you in 7 to 14 days.
Yeah.
So don't get married to the advice I'm giving you today.
And
there's a shift.
Yeah.
So I was like, today, you just got that puppy today. I want you outside every half hour.
Yeah.
And to put it in math terms, I say, I want you out there more than the pup has to go.
Yeah.
Because I want the pee-pee hitting the grass every single time. That is your first. What this woman's argument is, you've got to train them to hold their bladder. You do at some point, but in the very beginning, they can't.
Yeah.
So they've got to get their tush out on the grass.
Well, and I always sort of say, this isn't totally true. My dogs aren't housebroken. They potty on command. Mm-hmm. Because I take them out, and if I take them out every 30 minutes, even now as 14-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and say go potty, they're going to do something because this lady's not going to let me in until I go potty.
Take care of business.
Now I take them out enough where they probably are trained at this point. But yeah, that's when they're learning. If I say go potty,
that's right.
Squeeze
you
something
need
out.
more experiences doing your TT in the beginning.
Yeah.
Then moving right into holding it is set up for failure.
Yeah, their little tiny pea brains can't.
Holding it doesn't even occur to them.
Yeah.
Why would they hold it?
Yeah, I feel something. Gotta go.
That's totally unnatural.
My mom's been doing this for a while of cleaning myself up, so I'm just gonna pee right here.
I never had to hold it before. Anyway, I think that sets people up for failure.
Yeah, and this math problem. Okay, you're telling me the same plus 2 hours equals for a toy poodle as it does for a lab puppy?
Right.
No.
Big difference in breeds and the way they housebreak.
And how much they can hold and how much exercise and sleep they would need too. Yeah, that's stupid. But somebody's going to see that and be like, I saw a post.
And they ask me all the time, how long can she hold them? We don't need to worry about that right now.
Yeah, right now.
We need to worry about her, y'all going potty all the time. So like you said, they can learn what go pee-pee, go poo-poo means.
Yeah. And then you'll learn too.
You'll learn what their rhythm is.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, okay, now it seems excessive. I could probably pull back.
Yeah.
But you should find out first.
Yeah. No. Well, my first dog, I didn't have to.
Well,
that makes me.
My brother was a good student.
Right.
And that doesn't translate to me.
Yeah, that makes me insane when everybody wants to categorize. You know, and I struggled with that too. You know, I'm on my, 17th, 18th dog now as an adult. And when I was first, I got my first poodle at 18, and the next dog was, trying to replace that dog and trying to replace that dog.
Trying to replicate that experience.
Yeah, it really, I had to just be like, I'm not getting another Abby. I'm getting another dog. And I think people really struggle with that. Most people probably don't go through the high turnover rate that I do. So I can understand where when you've had two
this one
experiences in your
you
adult
expect
life,
that to repeat itself.
Yeah, you're expecting it to repeat itself. But boy, even in our house, our 3 are so different. So yeah, maybe if people need to accept your experience, just, I don't want to hear about your childhood dog. Your neighbor's
put
dog.
It over here. Yeah. But don't think that that's
married to it.
Don't be married to it.
Yeah.
I said, well, it went like this. I'll pull from that experience somewhat, but I'm ready for
change.
Yeah, things to be a little different.
Yeah.
I would say housebreaking is probably the number one reason
you get called.
Yeah. And or people don't keep their dogs.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more sickening to me than thinking about a dog being reprimanded for going potty in the house.
That, and I feel like it is, I don't want to get
few exceptions,
medical,
marking boys,
separation anxiety, true separation anxiety. Right. So, yeah, the marking boys. But I feel pretty confident in there's not a dog I can't housebreak. I mean,
commitment.
I will stand out in the ice and snow with a 15-year-old terrier until we're both blue in the face, literally. I think it's the give up, which, it's hard when you've got a little toddler crying in the other room. I get
something on the stove.
Yeah, it happens. And I saw one of the Lone Star Dog Ranch where I got Missy and Bernie from. She had a post a couple months ago when we had some of those big storms, and it was one of her sweet older dogs that is very housebroken, had a big old puddle in the yard, and she said, I will never reprimand her for pottying in the house during a storm because she came from a metal shed puppy mill. So yeah, a little different. And the reprimanding when you were outside and you held it versus, you know what, that was on me. We went to dinner and a movie and went to drinks after. I know I should have given him more time. yeah, I think people, the when to correct and when to not, maybe just think a little bit about it.
You do have to think ahead.
Yeah.
And have a plan. Be prepared. Like, okay, I just saw her pee pee.
We have
I might have a half hour, but not if she goes and drinks a bunch.
Yeah. And I've got to actually watch it.
Uh-huh.
Not, oh, I don't know.
And I was going to make this pasta, but you know what? I should probably get DoorDash.
Yeah. It's just not going to happen today.
You're really tied to that for at least 2 weeks, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Before there's any sort of, okay, I think I'm kind of got a handle on this a little bit.
Yeah.
And that I could go wash my hands without watching her.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I disturbing you? Yeah, 2 weeks, day one with a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
When do you get, hey, I got a new puppy, I'm trying to do the right thing, I'm going to call a trainer? When's your typical call? When something goes to hell, or is it like 50-50?
Yeah, I think it's all over the map. Right now, I have a client coming back to me, third dog. It's their personality, that this is who they are.
They're prepared.
They're told me before they even brought the puppy home.
Nice.
Then I've got we're about to get, other end of the spectrum, we're about to get kicked out of daycare. Emergency. Can you fix this? Usually the answer is no. How old's that dog? 18 months.
Yeah. The teenage rebellion has started.
Yeah, sometimes, every once in a while, a client will start in a little too early. I'm like, well, just let them settle in. You just focus on your housebreaking right now. It's gonna be a lot.
Call me in 2 or 3 months.
The sleeping going on. You'll catch up from having been with your litter mates.
Yeah. Well, and I bet you get a lot of okay, Susan trained him at 6 months. Don't hear, and then like 3 years old, you get a call.
Yeah, he bit somebody.
Yeah, but he was trained.
Yeah.
What happened?
I feel like something might have led up to this.
What happened? No, he's very trained. That's my favorite. Like,
check.
Like, we as people, you learn first, second, third grade, and then you're good.
Uh-huh. You maintained your car, right? And you have to keep working out if you want to stay fit.
I worked out once.
No.
So it was only that easy. You did it.
You got a new roof. Okay, but sometimes you got to go inspect it. See if it's holding. Replace some things.
One and done.
Uh-huh. Oh, well. It's good talk, kids. I'm hungry now.
Bored them to death.